Hello there guys, Elita-Legionarii here, and today I'm bringing you something really special. Well, at least it feels very special to me. It's a first ever experience. Recently, in the last sort of couple of month and a half, something like that, I have been attempting to talk my Titans clan members into coming around to Medieval 2 Total War, and I managed to achieve quite a bit of success in regards to Hades, who is up here on my far left playing as the Holy Roman Empire, but also I've managed to actually get Beast, who is playing as Denmark in this particular battle, to get interested, and we've also got Odin, who's just playing his very first Medieval 2 Total War game. This is actually the first battle that Odin has ever played on Medieval 2 Total War. It's a 4v4. That's pretty sweet. And not only that, I know that Muhammad now also has Medieval 2 Total War, so all 5 active Titans clan members are linked up for Medieval 2 Total War. I'm hoping the others will continue to enjoy it. I know Hades is really liking it, and Beast is also very good at Medieval 2. Odin's just obviously trying it out for the first time, and Muhammad is yet to try it, but I'm confident that Mo will probably enjoy it. But suffice to say, I'm really excited because I have been the only Titans clan member on Medieval 2 for the entirety of the time I've been in Titans. And as you know, if you're watched the Titans and Rome Total War, we're a very good clan in regards to teamwork and communication and battle play, and I'm really excited about being able to work with my Titans clan members in Medieval 2, because as I said in previous videos, the 31k teamwork that exists in Rome Total War doesn't really exist in Medieval 2. I know of no real players who are that, like, I'm not saying there's not teamwork, but just the level of teamwork and communication that comes from 31k and the experience from that level of teamwork, it doesn't really exist in Medieval 2. And although most of my fellow Titans clan members are not familiar with the mechanics of Medieval 2, they are excellent players and in regards to Total War as a whole, and very experienced as team members. So I'm really confident once they get kind of familiar with Medieval 2 that we could really seriously exert our clan's pressure on the Medieval 2 community, like in a cool way. Like, there's not much clan work in Medieval 2, so we could really set ourselves up quite nicely in the Medieval 2 community and become quite a dominant force. And I'm really excited about that, and to do a 4v4 with my fellow Titans was just really, really brilliant. I had just such a great time. Anyway, so I took France in this battle. This is a high periods battle. Host was Hades. So I've got 2 peasants just peeler screening. Not peeler screening, I'm thinking of Rome Total War. They are just screen in general. They're a great unit to have, peasants. They can serve a very useful role for protection duties, and just absorbing ammo fire and all sorts of things. Just a useful little thing to have in Medieval 2. I have 4 units of dismounted French archers. I have 2 units of armoured sergeants, which are spearmen. I don't usually use spearmen, but this is a high period battle, so I have to be a little bit more sort of trying to round my army out and still be cost effective. As you know, for those Medieval 2 players, France isn't particularly cost effective, being a very expensive faction which requires very careful working out of what you're going to bring. I have 4 dismounted chivalric knights, very solid, strong European sword infantry, and then I have 4 units of noble knights, a mailed knight, and a general's bodyguard. So that is my army. To my right is the Beast of Holland, aka Titan's Beast, who is in command of Denmark. Beast is very, in my opinion, we all know that Beast is a superb player in Rome Total War, but he brings the same quality of play to Medieval 2. For the most part, Beast knows how to play this game well. He probably doesn't know some of the specifics with some of the units, but he's still a very good player. Excellent micro, and he understands Medieval 2. So in this battle, I was content to leave Beast to sort of handle things on his own, because I know he can do it. He's a better micro than me. He's a more aggressive player than me. I might have a slight edge in Medieval 2 just because I played it more, but it wouldn't surprise me if very soon, if we play this game consistently, that he gets past me, because he's just a better player all round than I am, and probably ever will be. But anyway, playing as Denmark, he's got 2 chivalric knights and 4 huskarls for the cavalry units. He's got 4 units of Norse axemen, 4 dismounted chivalric knights, 2 Norse swordsmen on each flank, and 4 crossbowmen. This is a really nice, well-rounded army. It's very well thought out. The cavalry is more melee orientated, so he'll be wanting to try and catch the enemy cavalry, I would think. That would be the strategy I'd want to take in getting good charges of the chivalric knights. So that's Beast. To my left is Odin, of course. So this is Odin's first rodeo on Medieval 2 Total War. But I have to say he did well. For the most part in this battle, he did quite well. The Byzantines, not a power faction, but not a weak faction. He's just gone sort of down the middle of the middle tier faction here. It's a good faction. And if we look at his build here, we've got 4 dismounted Laticon. We've got, I think it's 2 or 3 Byzantine Guard archers, and he's got 4 Varangian Guard. Probably like as good as Varangian Guard are. If you can't get the charge off, these 4 units are not going to pay off too well. So I probably would only go with 2, really. 2 or 3, but 4 is still workable if you know what you're doing here. In which case, Odin probably doesn't know what he's doing just at this stage. But Odin is a good player. He's an experienced team player. I don't expect it will be long if Odin plays enough before he gets good at Medieval 2. So he's got that, a General's Bodyguard, and then 5 units of Cataphractoi. Again, not really familiar with Medieval 2, Odin isn't, so he didn't bring in the Aelan Light Cav. I probably should have told him that at the time, but I can't remember why I didn't. But suffice to say, it's a pretty decent army. It's decent enough for a first time around. And then Hades, I have to say, Hades is starting to get quite good at Medieval 2. He's been playing it for a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, done quite a lot of campaigning, but I've got to say I'm seeing quite significant improvements in his actual performances with the multiplayer since when I played with him first. He's very proactive, as you know, an excellent player in Rome Total War, extremely good team player as well, and you definitely see when Hades is playing that he's starting to get a good hang of this game. So he's got 6 units of Pubby's crossbowmen, 1 peasant, then he's got 5 dismounted Imperial Knights, General's Bodyguard, 4 Teutonic Knights, and a mounted crossbow. So that's his Holy Roman Empire army. It's a pretty good one too, I have to say. It will hold up well against his direct opponent, Dave, Ace of Dave, or Tovarisch Supercommie. I'm a big fan of the Russian faction. He's got 4 units of dismounted Dvor, 5 units of dismounted Boyarsans, let's see, 2 Dvor cavalry, 3 Drashina, and a General's Bodyguard. So it's Dave's army. Then we've got this fellow here, Peter 3107. He's playing as England, and he's pretty much done what a new player does with England. They put down stakes and they create sort of a box. So he's obviously a new player. He's got a mixture of yeoman archers and longbowmen, I think. And then he's got armoured swordsmen and some armoured sergeants, and then 4 English knights. Then we have my old mate here, Reaver. I haven't played with him for a while, but an experienced Medieval 2 player, playing as Milan. He's got 4 units of Genoese crossbowmen, 4 Italian spear militia, 2 armoured sergeants, then he's got 4 dismounted men-at-arms, and then 4 Famiglia Ducale, and a General's Bodyguard. And finally, another old mate of mine, Timeless, aka CT Legolas. He's got, playing as Egypt, he's got 2 Nefertoons up here on his right, 4 Desert Archers, another Nefertoon back here, 5 units of Tovarisch, I think it's 5, or no, it might be 6 actually, and then he's got, let's see, 2 Royal Mamluks, 3 Royal Mamluks, and then 2 regular and a General's Bodyguard. So not a bad army. I probably wouldn't bother so much with a lot of missiles with Egypt, but then against Denmark it's not a bad idea because Denmark isn't got great missiles itself. So anyway, at the beginning of this battle now, I'm going to slow this down a little bit. I've forgotten how to do this again. How do you do it? There we go, shift. So I'm going to just put it down a little bit to slow motion because this battle is going to kick off pretty quick. So I was sort of talking to the guys in this battle, and you know, I was sort of looking at this, and even though Dave is the most experienced player here, he's probably going to be the easiest player to knock out quite quickly. The reason I say this is because in the High Period, Russia doesn't have access to the Tsar's Guard, and as you know, Russian infantry isn't really that great. It's not bad, but it's not good. Against the Teutonic Knights that Hades has, these Drashina are not going to be able to stand up, and it'll be possible to kill Russia fairly quickly in most scenarios here. So I told Odin to send his cataphracts or cataphractoi with Hades, and I sent 2 units of my cavalry. So we're going to have about 12 or 13 cav over here. So we've got a lot of power over here. So we're going to try and knock Russia out. It's pretty much what the Titans are going to do at the start of this battle. So as you can see, as it kicks off, Hades brings up his mounted crossbowmen and is skirmishing here. However, this probably isn't great, because the thing is, mounted crossbowmen are better put to use running quick strikes against exposed light units, archers and that sort of thing, or picking off heavy cavalry. Going up against horse archers isn't so good, because horse archers outrange them. So as you can see, Hades he's getting 1 or 2 kills, but he's losing more men, and he's also up against 2 horse archers. But if it keeps these horse archers busy and away from his cavalry, that's okay. So Hades is going to take advantage of the fact that all of Day's cavalry is situated over here, so he's going to try a quick rush against all these missile units on the centre, and so is Odin. And I'm going to send 2 of my guys here, so we're going to try and quickly maul the Russian player here. So Dave's going to push in. Hades draws him back here. He will intercept this one, but Hades will get 2 very clean charges off on these Divorce. So that's really nice. Let's go to full speed here. Now Odin's going to do the same. However, Odin makes a bit of a mistake here. He clumps up, so you can see his charges in Medieval 2. This would work in Rome Total War if you were in Wedge, because you just push through, but pushing through doesn't happen in Medieval 2. So what kind of happens here when Odin charges is Hades' own cav kind of just blunts his charge because it's still there, and apart from the units he hit over here, he doesn't really get much success. So I'm trying to go around. Now unfortunately, if we zoom down here, my guys didn't put their lances down, so I got no charge impact whatsoever, which was very annoying. Occasionally that'll happen, and I'm going to get countered here by England in the flank, so this unit's going to get kind of hammered. Isn't particularly great, but as you can see, so Odin got a bit clustered, which to be honest I expected would probably happen, because he's still new, and that would probably, you get away with that in Rome Total War, because your units kind of push in and push through in Rome Total War, so you get all your numbers down. It's not so in Medieval 2. You've got to try and give clear line of path in your charges for your cavalry in Medieval 2. As you can see, Odin's probably having a few control problems here. He was only walking, so I'm going to try and send some cav in to help him here. Some of his cataphracts starts sort of showing signs of routing. And Dave loses his general just there. But Dave's putting up a good fight here. He is getting tripled. The English player really is just being too static. He should send forces to go and help. But Dave is most likely going to start losing pretty badly here. He is being tripled. And this is what we Titans specialise in. We work as a team, so we'll triple someone if we can, you know, and we'll get a quick win in one particular area. That is what we do. A lot of Medieval 2 players, they just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 players, bang bang, have 4 1v1s. We don't treat it like that. Because we play 31k, we think he's an easy target, so let's gang up on him and delay a fight somewhere else, or something like that. And it's this kind of thinking that I don't see a lot of in Medieval 2, and that's why I'm keen to get the Titans involved in Medieval 2, because I think we can bring something quite new to the Medieval 2 community. So, as you can see over here, the English player has brought support in, and he does make, with a bit of Russian infantry, Odin's cavalry gets destroyed, and my cavalry, which is regrouped in the back here, I'm going to get some good charges off here. I'm going to harass these guys, but I'm going to send, I said to Odin, send some of your infantry, send your general's bodyguard. I'll send my general's bodyguard, and I'll send another cavalry unit up, and we'll try and quickly finish things up here, because we want to move on to England soon. If we look down here, I have thinned out my ranks quite a bit. I've only got 2 cavalry to face off against all 6, I believe it is, of Milan, so I have to avoid battle with Milan. If we look up over on the right side, Beast is just beginning a missile duel against Legolas here. Not sure what was going on here with Legolas, but he's not in a good formation, and Beast is using crossbowmen, so he should win that fight straight up. But it's a wee bit of a slower build-up fight. I believe there was sort of a gentleman's agreement that Beast and Legolas were having a 1v1, so that was kind of cool. So we go back up to the right. As you can see, the English player is still trying to support, but Me, Odin, and Hades combine well, and we're going to finish off Dave. But kudos to Dave, as the saying goes. I think it's kudos. I don't usually say the saying. I don't know why I just said that. But good on Dave. He put up a very good fight against being tripled like this. He's an experienced Medieval 2 player, and he did put up a tough fight. He did manage to kill pretty much, with a bit of help from England, of course, he managed to kill pretty much all of what Odin sent except for the infantry. And most of Hades' infantry got wrecked as well. But he just got overwhelmed by superior cav numbers, and England just sort of too static here. And as you can see, England makes a mistake here. He runs through his own stakes, which kills off a bunch of his own guys, which is very helpful for us. You've got to watch that in Medieval 2. So going on the right side, as you can see, Beast starts pushing up here on his opponent here. He's focusing on a left flank attack, so he's striking out this flank and avoiding this flank over here. So Legolas tries to make advantage of this and go around on Beast's flank here. Beast disengages some of his couple of his cav units here, and he's going to focus on trying to hold up these guys. These Royal Mamluks will beat these Huskarls and Chivalric Knights. Legolas should take in this fight, I think. He's drawing himself further away from his own lines though, and this is not good for him because Beast can focus up here. Milan would have been wise to probably send some help here, because you don't want both flanks to collapse, and if Beast wins this fight, it means we've won, the Titans have won both flanks, and that's not something the other team wants. Beast gets off a pretty good charge. You can see that that Egypt didn't charge with his two-handed Tovarisch unit, so Beast will win the infantry fight straight up here because he got the charge with his Norse Axemen and Chivalric Knights. But there are Nafatoons here which are firing here, and they do manage to rout one of these Norse Axemen, so that would be in Beast's interest to try and stabilise that section, otherwise he might get a chain rout against him here. But as you can see, Beast is definitely winning this right flank, and over here he's doing a very good job of delaying the superior Egyptian cavalry over here. I think he may have got a slightly better charge, which is good for Beast, but the Huskarls and Chivalric Knight will lose to the Royal Mamluks, but if he delays them he can win everything else over here, so he's looking very sturdy. Although with those Nafatoons doing their thing, this wing did take a bit of a beating, and that ain't so good. But Beast has got the decisive victory sort of going on this flank, and his centre's looking pretty good. So it's at this stage that Milan starts to get aggressive with me, and I was worried because, as I said, I sent 4 of my cavalry units to help Odin and Hades. So I only had 2 to fend off 3 units of Famiglia Ducali, I think, in a general's body. 4 units of Famiglia Ducali and a general's bodyguard. So it was only 5 cav versus 2. So I was in a bit of trouble. But I'm going to get a good charge here against these Italian units. Now I've only got 4 sword infantry, and I'm delaying with these 2 armoured sergeants, so I'm just forcing these guys to go the long way around. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to just quickly knock his cavalry out on this side. And what I've done, the plan here was we were going to gang up and just sort of mow down the the English player with concentrated missile fire and just combined arms. But I said to Hades and Odin, I said, this guy's static, he wants to stay inside his little stake box thing here. So I said, go around him and we'll hit Milan in the back so you can free me up, because again I needed to get my cavalry back here because I'm outnumbered by 3 extra cavalry, and that puts me at a big disadvantage considering he's also got more infantry than me. Now my infantry's better, the men-at-arms are not very good in comparison to the Chivalric Knights, but I desperately need to get more cavalry to this fight. But I need to get rid of these crossbowmen because they could be a nuisance if they get into my flank, so I'm going to run these guys down. Plus they're going to be in my way for charge path against the back of Reaver's infantry here. Now Reaver goes for my French mounted archers. You may notice that Reaver's in wedge formation. Unfortunately, wedge formation really is of pretty much no value in Medieval 2, and you'll see why in a minute. The charge impacts just don't work. It doesn't really, it kind of makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my French dismounted archers to fire arrows at these guys, using fire arrows. Looks like Beast just got his general killed. And these guys, although I'm losing my archers, they hold up reasonably well, and they blunt his charges. And as you see, because he's in wedge formation, only the front unit really hits, and the other units behind them just bunch up, and that's why the wedge formation charge doesn't work in Medieval 2. It's not like Rome Total War, you can't push through. So over here, Hades is sending his cavalry to help me, and Odin's making a great move at, where is it? Here it is. Odin's sending some of his infantry over. This is good, backing me up here. And what these guys are doing, if we just pause again, you can see that Odin and Hades are just lining up their missile units, and they're just shooting at this very tightly packed English player. This is really not a good formation to take. I see a lot of new English players doing this sort of thing here, where they want to use the long-range archers of England and they put the stakes down, but they just completely close the battlefield off to themselves, and they just get a smart team just ignores them. Basically, like what we're doing, we're just tag teaming against we tag team Russia, and now we're tag teaming Milan, and we're just leaving this guy to it. All the while, because he's in such a tight formation, he's getting defeated by the Byzantine Guard archers, which are weaker, like not as good archers as his, and with Hades archers helping as well, this missile army is not going to stand up, and it's going to completely nullify England's usefulness. So at this stage, I'm going to run some rear charges here. As you can see, got a pretty good charge off there, and now Hades is running charges as well. So with these guys helping me, got my spears in the back now. My dismounted French archers, although they took a few losses, really did help blunt those Famiglia Ducale. So I got charged in the flank, but they didn't get a good charge off of me. So my infantry held up against that, even though they should have routed very quickly. If I look to the other side, as you can see, Beast is clearly won. He's managed to mop up the remainder of Egypt, so good on him. As I said, I was confident I could rely on Beast on the flank by himself because he's good experience in Medieval 2. And anyway, my cavalry in the back is regrouping here, and we're just starting to charge in here. As you can see, Odin makes a nice charge here. He brings in infantry to pin down these Milanese units, and Hades puts the charge in, so nice stuff there. As you can see, the teamwork is there. Again, not a lot of communication was needed for this to happen. Even though these two Titan players are not particularly familiar with Medieval 2, we have that history of having teamwork with each other. We've worked with each other lots of times, and we can translate that into Medieval 2, even though most of these Titan players are Rome Total War players. But as you can see, Reaver-Milan breaks under our combined efforts here, and at this stage, as you can see, these guys are in such a tight formation, have been shot to crap by Hades and Odin here. These guys have really ripped up this English army, and as you know, England is renowned for its missiles, and this really is a waste of England's strength, being this tight formation. All these units are facing backwards, just against a handful of Odin's Varangian Guard, which admittedly Odin made a bit of a mistake leaving them here because they did get shot, but as you can see, this English player's got all these units with their backs turned, so that would be an absolute field day for Odin and Hades to shoot them in the flank there. But at this stage, it's well and truly in hand, this battle. I'm just going to move her out here and start surrounding this remaining English player here. I do apologise, there was a little bit of lag in this fight. With Medieval 2, I have to record with fraps because Bandicam doesn't work very well. It makes my screen really bright, and I don't know why it does that. It's really annoying. But occasionally fraps can be just a little bit laggy for me. I don't know why. Probably because it's a 4v4. But I don't think it was drastic, but it won't happen every time. But I do apologise for it that it did happen that way. So at this stage of the battle, we're just going to mop up the rest of England. Now, as you can see, he's got spearmen blocking off here, and as I said, you can't charge your infantry forward in Medieval 2 and then charge through your cavalry, because your own infantry will blunt it. In Rome Total War you can push through, but in Medieval 2, push through almost never works. But there are scenarios in this battle, when you play enough Total War, you kind of know if you play enough of a Total War game, you know when you're going to be able to get a rout. Now I know, because these guys are so weak and there's so much of their units dead and they're so surrounded, that if I just charge into the side of these two units here, I'm going to get a rout over here. So these guys charge on, I just charge in, and I know that these units are going to rout. So as you can see, 1, 2 routs, and these units are going to rout as well. And I mean, this move by Hades and stuff, and Odin, they're just going to clump up basically, but it's impact at this stage. This is where you can kind of cluster your charge just to get impact, just to get weight and numbers, and you can get a rout that way. But overall, that kind of pushing through strategy doesn't really work in Medieval 2, but when you play it enough, you kind of know when it's going to happen or when it's not. But as you can see, it's a clear victory for the Titans clan, and that is a glorious sight, seeing 4 Titans on one team in Medieval 2. I'm really pleased. I really enjoyed this one. It was very good teamwork. I just have a really good feeling about us Titans coming to Medieval 2. I know these guys are good players on Rome Total War. I know they've got great teamwork. We get on really well with each other. And we've got lots we can bring to Medieval 2 Total War, I think. Once Odin and Hades start to get a real good feel for Medieval 2, Beast is already there. I'm already there. Muhammad as well. When Mo plays some Medieval 2. I'm certain we know Muhammad's an excellent player, great team strategist, tactician, team player. Once again, like Odin and Hades, once he gets a feeler for Medieval 2, I'm seeing really good things for us on Medieval 2. Just another sort of game that we can move into and really enjoy. As you can see here, we look at the stats. Hades takes tops kills. If we include the capture count, he's over 1,000. Beast, he's up around 950 odd. Me, I'm probably about 950 as well. And Odin hasn't got as much, and he made a few mistakes, but for a first game he was good. He had good teamwork, good support, and I'm confident Odin will get good the longer he plays. Same with Hades. Over here, I have to commend Dave. He really put up well under with 761 men too. He put up very well against the triple attack there. Very well done on Dave. The English player, not so much. He really just sat there in that formation and got shot to bits. He did send Cav to help, but it wasn't enough. Reaver, if I'd been Reaver, I would have been more aggressive against me when I had less Cav there. He hung around a little bit long. But he still put up a good fight. Again, he ended up getting tripled as well. And Legolas, or Timeless, he gave Beast a great fight. We know Beast's a tough opponent, and you see it was a pretty close battle between him and Beast. So well done to him. If we look at the stats here, my Cavs come off pretty well, considering most of it spent the time fighting other cavalry. I was pleased with that result. The dismounted Chevrolet Knight's pretty good, really, considering most times infantry doesn't get a lot of kills, and the French archers actually did really quite well in this fight. It's a very good unit. So all around I got pretty well dispersed kills between all my units, really. All in all though, I really enjoyed this. I'm thrilled that the Titans came on to Medieval 2 to play a 4v4 with me. And I know Hades is really enjoying it. I know Beast likes this game, and Odin, I'm pretty sure Odin was enjoying it too. And I'm certain Mo will as well. And I'm just really excited about it. So thanks again, guys. I will be linking the Beast of Holland's channel, guys. You know it's an awesome channel for Rome Total War, and maybe Medieval 2 in future. I don't know if he's interested in that, but it would be quite cool to see Beast's take on some Medieval 2 action. So check his channel out, awesome channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I hope I can bring you more battles with Titans in Medieval 2. So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you soon next time.